An improved engine range now in place was the only thing Ford's second generation Galaxy really needed to perfect its offering in the large MPV sector. It may not be quite as sporty as its S-Max sister vehicle, but it's certainly the better large MPV, delivering more space and greater practicality, the things that most people-carrying people prioritise. For over a decade, from the mid-90s, Ford's large Galaxy people carrier was little more than a rebadged Volkswagen or Seat. The Ford bit of it, the driving experience, was well judged, but practicality-wise, the design left a bit to be desired, most notably with the fact that to get a lot of stuff in, you had to chuck all the seats out. Eventually, the Blue Oval brand lost patience, deciding, rightly as it turned out, that they could do a better job themselves on their own. The resulting 2006 second generation Galaxy was a revelation, even better to drive and much easier to use, most notably with the fact that all 5 rearward seats folded flat into the floor. All that really needed improvement lay beneath the bonnet. Most Galaxy buyers would have chosen diesel usually anyway, but any waverers normally had their minds made up if they sampled the elderly, normally aspirated 2-litre and 2.3-litre petrol units that Ford initially provided for this model. The diesel range wasn't perfect either. The entry-level 1.8-litre TDCi power plant well past its sell-by date. Having corrected these issues, tweaked the looks and added some high-tech features, Ford feels confident that this revised Galaxy can provide an even stronger proposition in the large MPV sector for family customers. Let's find out if they're right. Now, Ford alone provides large MPV buyers with a choice of 2 completely different designs. The same platform and the same Genk factory in Belgium, offering not only this Galaxy but the more sportily orientated S-Max model. The S-Max is aimed at drivers who need an MPV, a people carrier, but really don't want one. And a surprising amount of its dynamic personality has been transferred across to this Galaxy intact, despite this model's higher centre of gravity and softer ride. Essentially, what you lose in corner turning and body control, you gain in smoothness and comfort. Even so, this Galaxy can be a rewarding car to drive. It seems to shrink around you on the open road. As a result, large MPVs that handle better than this one are a rare breed indeed, especially if you opt for the clever CCD active suspension, which gives this model additional agility and sure-footedness, particularly when it's fully loaded. The two Fords now share exactly the same engine range too, the big news being the introduction of the EcoBoost 2-litre SCTI 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine. Now, courtesy of 300 Newton meters of torque, this EcoBoost model gets from rest to 60 in just 8.5 seconds on the way to a top speed of 135 miles an hour. So it's significantly quicker than the fastest diesel. That's the 161 brake horsepower 2-litre TDCi that I'm driving here. Yet even so, it manages to get within 12 miles to the gallon of this diesel's fuel return. So it's a good all-round unit. For poorer petrol people, the old 140 brake horsepower 2-litre normally aspirated unit continues on at the foot of the range. But really, these people would be better served, like the majority of Galaxy customers, going for the diesel option. These are all now 2 litres in size, offering either 113, 138, or as in this case, 161 brake horsepower. Personally, I'm not at all sure that this Galaxy isn't actually better looking than its sleeker S-Max stablemate, but that's just an opinion. Certainly the most recent revisions haven't done its good looks any harm. There's a smoother, more sculpted bonnet, revised front grille with chrome inserts, redesigned front fog lamps and LED daytime running lights on plusher models. The roof has bolder silver rails, while redesigned LED tail lamps adorn the rear. But what really matters is how this car performs as a family workhorse. Well, we've tested it on trips long and short, packed with kids and loaded with luggage, laden and unladen. There are a few things that we've noticed. The excellent ride quality, for example, is particularly useful when it comes to avoiding car sickness in young passengers. The large glass area, which lights up the cabin, ensures that everyone gets a good view out. It also means excellent visibility from behind the wheel, from where it's easy to find the ideal driving position thanks to the amount of seat height adjustment you get and the way that you can adjust the wheel for both reach and for rake. Now, rather ambitiously, Ford wants this car to appeal not just to people who might otherwise be considering a rival large MPV, but also to potential buyers of large, prestigiously badged executive estates, hence the high standards of fit and finish. In the middle row here, there's decent room and practical provision for 3 adults, particularly on those models fitted with this useful centre storage box. Plush models also get these lovely glass roof panels to make the cabin even airier. And the width of the bodywork is useful as well. Back here, it'll be easy to put 3 child seats, one beside the other, for example. Even as an adult cooped up in the rearmost row, there's little feeling of claustrophobia. The Galaxy's designers having effectively utilised the space available and put the extra 6 inches of roof height that you get over this car's S-Max stablemate to good use. The cabin floor even slopes up slightly towards the rear so that people in the back can more easily see what's going on up front. When you're not using the third or second row seating, the innovative fold flat system, which offers no fewer than 32 seating permutations, enables all the rearward chairs to retract flush into the floor, giving you a vast double bed size 2,325 litre loading area. That's 325 litres more than you get in an S-Max. There are also lashing eyes to keep your stuff in place if you do fail to resist this Ford's sporty character. List pricing suggests that you'll be paying somewhere between £23,000 and £30,000 for your Ford Galaxy, and that represents a premium of around £2,200 over the equivalently engined but slightly smaller Ford S-Max. Now, my advice would be to ignore the entry-level normally aspirated petrol 2 litre, it needs a bit more pulling power, and the entry-level diesel, the 113 brake horsepower 2 litre TDCi, for the simple reason that it's only a couple of £100 less than the far pokier 138 brake horsepower 2 litre TDCi variant. So that means you're probably looking realistically at starting prices that are the best part of £25,000, or the best part of £27,000 if you fancy the turbocharged 2 litre EcoBoost petrol. Now, those sort of figures put this Ford slightly above frumpier large MPVs like, say, Volkswagen Chiron or Seat's Alhambra, but make it still a bit cheaper than even bigger offerings like Chrysler's Grand Voyager or the even pricier Mercedes Viano. One way or another, it's highly likely that you're going to be buying a 2 litre Ford Galaxy. The only question is which one. Petrol buyers will want to stretch to the 200 brake horsepower EcoBoost turbocharged unit over the normally aspirated entry-level 140 brake horsepower 2 litre, while diesel drivers have that choice between 113, 138 and 161 brake horsepower power plants. Now, whichever version you choose, you should find it to be well equipped. Standard equipment runs to dual zone climate control, front and rear parking sensors, Bluetooth compatibility for your mobile phone, a heated front windscreen, all-round electric windows, although this colour touchscreen is an expensive option. Safety-wise, there are twin front and side airbags for front seat passengers, plus an airbag for the driver's knee and window bags to cover the first 2 rows. ABS and ESP stability control are of course standard. Then, depending on the model you choose, there are further features like hill start assist for uphill junctions, tyre pressure monitoring, run flat tyres, and the ACC adaptive cruise control system with FA forward alert and collision mitigation by braking to help you in the event of a near accident. All that offers extra peace of mind, as does the blind spot information system that Ford have borrowed from Volvo to alert you if you're changing lanes in front of another driver. Here's a feature I really like, Ford's Easy Fuel misfueling prevention device that stops the expensive mistake of matching the wrong fuel to the wrong engine. But just how much juice will this big old people carrier use? Well, in terms of combined fuel consumption, you should average somewhere between 47 and 49 miles to the gallon, no matter which of the Euro 5 2-litre TDCI diesel engines you choose. And CO2 emissions will be somewhere between 152 and 159 grams per kilometre. What about petrol power? Well, despite its extra 40 brake horsepower, the modern 2-litre EcoBoost unit performs essentially pretty much the same as the much older 140 brake horsepower normally aspirated 2-litre petrol engine that's at the foot of the Galaxy range. Despite the fact that the EcoBoost has an automatic, it returns pretty much the same combined fuel consumption figure, that's 34.9 miles to the gallon, and also the same CO2 return, that's 189 grams per kilometre. What else? Insurance groups, well, on the 1 to 50 group rating, they're between 17 and 25, and you get the usual Ford 3 years, 60,000 mile warranty. When you consider the types of people who actually go out and buy big 7-seat MPVs, you could easily make a case for this Galaxy being a better bet than its S-Max stablemate. Whereas the S-Max majors on combining driving vigour with MPV practicality, this Galaxy just gets on with doing the job, fulfilling the job in hand. It's immensely practical, well built, and still drives better than most of its rivals. With an engine range that now at last matches the quality of the rest of the product, this big Ford is now hard to overlook in the large MPV sector. Yes, it could, perhaps should, be more affordable, but if you get the right deal and don't want something so big it's almost bus-like, then this car is hard to overlook in this segment. Whether you'd want one over an equivalent Ford S-Max is another question, of course, but one thing's for certain: buyers wanting 7 seats in their large MPV will find it hard to look beyond their local Ford dealership.